Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, has made no secret of his dislike for pedicabs, branding them as dangerous and unsafe. But now the campaign group Stop Killing Cyclists is calling for a network of zero-emission pedicab stands to be introduced. The group says the mayor should be supporting the use of rickshaws as they do not contribute to high pollution levels in central London. Well, joining me now is Donnachadh McCarthy, co-founder of the group Stop Killing Cyclists. Donnachadh, thank you very much indeed for coming in to speak to us. Now, you say that the mayor should stop this unjustified persecution of London pedicabs, but the mayor has stressed that they are dangerous.
Yeah, well, our top priority is saving lives of pedestrians and cyclists and Londoners. And if you look at the record, over 15 years, not a single fatality has been resulting from the pedicabs. They have a history of safety. And the extraordinary thing is that they save lives. The top emergency health-wise in London at the moment is transport pollution. 9,500 Londoners are dying every year. Another 95,000 Londoners are living with terrible diseases from the transport pollution. Pedicabs are zero pollution, so they should be promoted, not persecuted.
So what about the fact that they are unlicensed, and some people say that therefore it makes them difficult to regulate?
We have no problem, and we've actually talked to the pedicab industry. They are supportive of sensible regulation. They even had a negotiated deal with TfL and Westminster, and on the day it was being launched at the press conference, Westminster and TfL backed out. They should come back to the table, agree sensible regulation with the industry and promote them as a positive for London and its tourism industry.
So you'd be all up for them being licensed and
no
more regulation?
That.
Okay, so what about the fact that, of course, in terms of emissions, great, but they're not cheap. We've also been hearing, especially last year, we've seen examples of a rickshaw driver charging over £200 for a very short journey, with essentially ripping off tourists in some cases, not all of them,
Sure.
I must stress.
Yeah, in any industry you get a minority of bad apples. Of course, they should be dealt with, bring in proper pricing regulations. The mayor now has the power to do regulation, have sensible regulations and negotiate so that when there is a sign on the rickshaw saying how much the journey is going to cost, we've no problem with that. Sensible regulation, but promote them because they actually clean London, help clean London's air.
But then some councils also say that they prove to be a nuisance. In fact, Camden Council has been consulting with residents over them to try and introduce a public space protection order, which they say will help to tackle antisocial behaviour, because it seems as though sometimes there does seem to be some infighting between some of the drivers themselves, and this is what some councils are trying to clamp down on.
Well, if you had pedicab stands, legal, properly maintained pedicab stands at where we currently have black cab stands, that would make sense to an unregulated industry. The problem at the moment is around the edges we have got the problems of unregulation. Regulated properly, we'll have a positive for London. One statistic which is quite startling from our point of view is it's estimated around 2,000 Londoners die from the pollution from black cabs and minicabs in London. Zach Goldsmith and the mayor talk about how the pedicabs bring congestion. The total of pedicabs in London is 650, so maybe 300 out at most in an evening. There are 100,000 licensed taxis, Uber vehicles and black cabs in London. That's where the congestion is, 100,000 cabs. We're choking up with cabs on our streets, and we've got to do something about it.
And I guess all of that then centres around the fact that, we have to look at the licensing of them and regulating. So the talk, I'm sure, will be going on. Donnachadh, thank you very much indeed for coming in this morning to speak to us on London Live. Thank you. Okay.